Hi everyone, my name is Melanie. Welcome to A Steadfast Mind. When was the last time that you felt anger? What caused you to feel that way? The world gives us plenty of reasons to get angry. Bullies, road rage. Sometimes it's the people we love or the people we barely tolerate. I don't watch the news, local or national. There's plenty of other content that I do watch on YouTube and Rumble. So I have a pretty good idea what's going on in the world. Attacks on family, attacks on children and teens, and getting society in general to attack each other. It all makes me very, very angry. Anger is a strong emotion, about as strong as fear. But unlike fear, anger exists in us because it exists in our God who created us in his likeness. There are countless times in the Bible when people provoked God's anger or his wrath. The early Israelites, Nineveh, Sodom and Gomorrah. Jesus was angry when the people turned God's house into a marketplace. In Mark chapter 3, Jesus was teaching on the Sabbath, and there was a man in the crowd with a withered hand. But the only thing the Pharisees were interested in was a reason to accuse Jesus of doing evil. Mark chapter 3 verse 2 says, "So they watched him closely, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so they might accuse him." I guess they considered healing work. Verse 5 says, "And when he, Jesus, had looked around at them with anger, being grieved by the hardness of their hearts, he said to the man, 'Stretch out your hand.' And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored as whole as the other." Being angry is not a sin. The problem comes when we decide what to do with that emotion. Allowing anger to control our actions may lead to sin. We also have to be careful when we compare our anger to God's anger. After all, our Father is the righteous judge, and Jesus is perfect. So don't immediately assume that in every situation you have the right to be angry. I want to talk about overcoming anger so your mind is clear and your heart is open to receiving instruction from God on what to do about the situation that made you mad. Let's look again at Mark 3:5. The Pharisees, who were well versed in the law and responsible for teaching the children of Israel, had hardened hearts. They would rather a man suffer than to tell him, "You are a son of God Most High, and we will call on him to heal your withered hand." Jesus was angry at their sin, but he was not overcome by anger. If he had given in to the strong emotion, he most likely would have just left in a huff. That poor man would still have had his withered hand. Jesus could have also, out of anger, retaliated against the Pharisees, but instead, he turned his attention back to the man and healed him. We know that Jesus did not do anything except what God the Father would have him do. In John 6:38, he says, "For I have come down from heaven, not to do my will, but the will of him who sent me." And God's will was to have that man healed. We Christians have a duty to perform. Anger is just another tool that Satan uses to distract us. An angry person is easily offended. An angry person does not think straight. If you allow anger to distract you, you are not focused on God. There is too much important work to be done. There are people who need healing physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. There are lives to be changed. Just like in my What Would Jesus Do video, we need to turn to the Father for instruction and direction. The best way to get your emotions in check? Breathe. And remember, even when we are angry, not our will, but His be done. Not my will, but yours. Not my will, but yours. Not my will, but yours. Anger may be a strong emotion, but don't let it lead you to sin. Don't allow anger to distract you from hearing from God. You may be angry as Jesus was, but like him, move away from it. Keep your eyes on the Father and do what he will. Thank you for stopping by, and God bless.